All right, boys and girls, Mr. Resch here on the 30th. Oh my goodness, I have the wrong date. 30th of March. And my hope for you is to give you a quick 5-minute review so you can do well on your Chapter 8 assessment. If you remember, before spring break, we tried to finish up Chapter 8, learning about political parties, the Federalists, which was represented by Alexander Hamilton, and the Democratic Republicans, which was Thomas Jefferson, and he liked agriculture, Jefferson did. I think what I'm going to do is maybe do a check-in question of the day. Don't have to write it down, just give it a thought, give it a guess. It's kind of our opener. So after President Washington, the U.S. Capitol moved from New York City to blank. Where do you think that went for the time being? Okay, and tomorrow I'll give you that answer. All right, it'd be helpful to have your purple notes out and ready. Those are usable on your assessment, which is going to be a quizzes. Let's talk about that very quickly here. The quizzes, you're going to eventually go to joinmyquiz.com and type in the join code 011513. And your goal is to get the best score possible. Play it as many times as you can. I'm looking for 75%. That's 3 out of 4 or better to get a 3. And if you want a 2, I need 50% or better. So you got to at least get that, boys and girls. So here we go. Let's get back to business. Start off our review. We want to talk about the Federalists. Remember the Federalists, like a big type of government, really strong, all right? An economy full of business, banks, and selling and making goods or manufacturing. They wanted loose interpretation of the Constitution. That means if the Constitution says this much, they could stretch that power this big or even bigger. Okay, the Democratic Republicans liked a smaller government, an economy based on agriculture. This is Thomas Jefferson, remember, and they liked a strict interpretation. So if this is what the Constitution said, there is no powers outside of what it exactly says. Okay, so that's the main thing we want to focus on today. We'll prepare for your Chapter 8 test, and then you should take 15, 20 minutes to do your very best on the assessment, and that's it for the day. Have fun with it. Okay. Got nothing here. Remember, this is open note. One of the first things I want to say is also this worksheet packet might be really helpful on your test. Go with that and see what that might do for you. Here we go. Maybe not. Okay. Remember, the first president of the United States was Washington. And under Washington, we had big financial problems because we spent tons of money to beat the British in war. Hamilton, the treasurer, had a 3-step plan: pay off the war debts, which Americans helped by buying bonds, so they had to pay those debts off. They had to raise money through tariffs and taxes and create a national bank. Okay? Creating a bank, we talked about how banks work. This is really important. Remember, the people, they put their money in a bank. The bank protects their money, and they give them a small interest rate. So yes, I don't get a lot, but I get something back. It's pretty cool. The banks use that money from like 10,000 people. They loan it out to businesses. Businesses pay their workers. They buy new machines to build products, and that money stays in the country. And they can then pay their workers who buy food, entertainment, things like that, and then put money back in the bank. Win-win for the United States because money stays at home. Okay, so this word called tariffs, tax on imports, really important to know. All right, remember that Washington also had other problems. The farmers hated the whiskey tax to help pay off the war debt because that was their extra income. They were only paid once a year in the fall. Okay, there were struggles out west. Remember, in this yellow region right here, we call that the Northwest Ordinance. The Native Americans started attacking American settlers, and they were helped by the British. So we had to go out there and beat them. It helped open up the country more. Remember, we had problems with Europe, both Britain, just mainly Britain, and Washington wanted to be neutral, but the British were under impressment. They were impressing our troops, forcing Americans to serve on British ships because Americans were helping the French. Okay, not good. So we signed Jay's Treaty to end all that. Okay, treaty between the British and the Americans. There was also Pinckney's Treaty. Pinckney's Treaty was with Spain. This is huge. It gives us access to the Mississippi River and helped us trade in New Orleans. In Washington's farewell address, he said, "Don't form political parties, but we do anyways," which is the last thing somewhere, right down here, right? We know that Hamilton